Well, the register of the school told me that this patient, who was 18 years old, told me her mother wanted me to treat this patient. Well, I was very perturbed by that because this patient's nervous system was so delicate and was so dysfunctional, and because I did not have the knowledge to help this patient, I said, I don't want to treat that patient. That is not my patient. That patient belonged to this other doctor, and I'm not going to take his patient. The register say, if you don't see this patient, we're going to kick you out of the college.
Wow.
I said, okay, when do we set up the appointment? So anyway, I started seeing this patient. Within a couple of months of seeing this patient, actually about 6 weeks, the patient was laying down without any spasms at all. Within a couple of months, the patient was able to lift her head up and walk out of the clinic without any spasms, to walk normal.
Wow.
The register said, when she saw the patient go by her desk, she said, did you see that patient just walk out this door? And so she told her mother and father, who were the president and vice president of the college. So the father, he told all the students, you all need to be like Dr. Hapi. He is an exemplary doctor who is learning the knowledge that we teach. But the point I want to stress with this particular case, because this case was very unusual, and this case got me a lot of patients. From that one patient, after the president told all the students, they started coming down to see me, and they were referring their family members, and then the other doctors who were my associates were coming in to see me to find out how did I treat this patient, to get the patient walking without the spasms, because it was unheard of in the college. So I said that you treat what you find, which is a way that we identify treating problems that a person gets. But actually, I had used the secrets of the breath to help this patient start improving her nervous system so that she could start walking and being able to lay down without the spasms.
Wow, I mean, every story, every case study with all of your patients is just really interesting, to using a very small word, but interesting to say the least. You know, they're going from these extreme conditions, and something that I wouldn't say that we take completely for granted, but something that's so simple, you know, is improving your breath, and how I think through all of these case studies it's easier to see how the breath, how powerful it is, and how it's connected to and affecting all of these different systems in the body from the inside out. And I just find that to be very interesting. I'm going to check and see if there are any more questions, because I definitely want to move on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, if you have a question, again,
go ahead.
If you just post it on the Ignite Your Soul Connection Facebook page, or press 1 on your touch-tone phone, and we'll make sure we get to you. So just moving on, I wanted to see if you had anything else to note about the breath. Otherwise, I definitely want to be able to give our listeners the opportunity to know if they decided that they wanted to get more information, not just about you, but where should they start? If they want to pay attention to themselves more as far as their breath and their health, is there anything particular during the day?
Let's look at another condition.
Okay.
And this is a condition of fibroids. Women tend to get fibroids a lot. And the fibroids, we now know, comes from eating a lot of dairy, a lot of cheese, and it also comes from emotional problems, holding on to situations, negative situations. So the fibroids, when they start building in your reproductive system, your breathing has an ability to help that, because your breathing squeezes your diaphragm, and squeeze your organs and help your organs to eliminate better. We are only using 5% of the power of our breath. Only 5%. That's 95% of the power we're not even using. because we don't know how to breathe. No one has taught us how to breathe. The average person, by the time they get 30 to 35 years old, their breath has become broken. What I mean by that, the mechanisms of what makes the breath work that we had when we were younger, because of us not being as in tune and this culture not really promoting us to become aware of our bodies and how our bodies work and how the respiratory system work, how our breathing, how we're supposed to have an infinite control over its function and helping its function. So in our society, breathing is a very low priority. If it wasn't for God keeping us alive with the breath, most of us would be dead because we give very little attention to the mechanism of our breathing being generated by us and functioning by us. We take it for granted that just by breathing, our breathing mechanism is working properly, where it is not. So there's a lot of attention that needs to be brought to the breathing mechanism, and as we become more aware of that being the most important system to learn about, because 3 minutes without breath, we have expired. We're dead. So that needs to be our priority system to start studying. Let me give you another example. The relationship between the mind and body is through the breath. The more you start learning how to control the breath, the more you start being able to change your brain wave. And by changing the brain wave, you can help to release stress. You can help to decrease headaches. You can help to release anxiety. You can help to slow down your blood pressure. You can help to improve your circulation. You can help to improve your internal organ functions. You can help to release pain from your body. You can help to improve the vitality of your body. You can help to decrease the stress in your mind just by getting control of your breathing. That's where meditation comes in. Meditation is something that when you do it, you're learning how to get control of your breath. As you get control of the breath, you change your brain wave to what we call alpha. Alpha is the brain wave that is triggered, and it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to help to relax you, to sedate you, to trigger hormones like melatonin, to help you go to sleep, so that when you go to sleep, you can restore and renew yourself. And so the breathing is critical to our body staying well. And the people who breathe the least is the people who have the most problems. And so our goal and our priority should be learning the most important system in the body, learning more about it, how it works. In my videotapes in yoga, you start learning about that, because that's what you're going to be learning. The first thing you learn when you study my DVDs.
Okay. Wow. Every time you speak about something, I'm just blown away. Just so much information. It's really difficult to figure out where to start and end. And I think that that's a great thing, actually, because I believe that, the information that our listeners are looking for, not everything is going to be, or even if this is just the tip of the iceberg, if this is your first introduction into the power and the healing behind the breath. And it's important, I believe, you would agree, that people continue their independent study in their own journey and the search for information on how they can improve their lives and the lives of people around them, family and so forth, by the power of breath. And so with that, if there are any questions, everyone knows already what to do. But I do have a question for you, and this is switching the topic a little bit. Your thoughts. It is, we ask every guest for Ignite Your Soul Connection. 2012, we're at the end of the year. We're going into 2012 next year, and there's just so much a buzz and the conversation about change and the dialogue around the evolution of humanity and mankind. What are your thoughts about that subject matter, and do you have any concerns?
Well, as we move into I don't just look at it as going into 2012. I look at it as going into the future. as we look at the future, there's a lot of damage that has been done to the environment now, and there's a lot of damage that has been done to the ecology. So what we're looking at now is global warming. Global warming is creating all of these catastrophes that you're seeing with the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the fires. Just the other day in California was they call it Nina, or the trade wind blowing the fire all over the place and causing a tremendous amount of damage. When you look at certain areas where the water is starting to disappear and land is starting to get drought and you get a famine, all of this is coming because of the damage that man is doing to the environment. Just this last summer, there was an alert that was put out by the State Department, and they were talking about the damage that was going to occur from the environment. And so what we have to be very cognitive of is we have to be very cognitive that we have to now start taking on a sense of the responsibility to heal the earth, to heal the environment, to heal
Absolutely.
the nature, to come back into the harmony of Mother Nature. Now, in this harmony is the breath of Mother Nature. There's a breath that if we bring our awareness back to becoming organic and bringing harmony back to the ecology, we can help to save the environment for our children and our grandchildren. And so that's where we must all come together and take on a responsibility to become very responsible for what we do in the environment. Give you an example
Absolutely.
of that is all the bottles, all these plastic bottles that we see when people are buying and litter. When they litter, all these bottles are now starting to cause a major problem in the ocean, and we're seeing the effects of that.
Right.
So
and wasn't there I'm sorry, go ahead.
We have to start taking a greater responsibility for our environment. And so that's why one of the things I recommend is a particular type of water called Kangen water, which is an alkaline water. So instead of buying all these bottles of water, we only need one bottle, and we carry our water in there. And this is a special kind of water that helps to increase oxygen in the body so that you can breathe better. This water we call purple water. There's a testing we can do to this water to see how much this water can help the body. This water is an antioxidant like blueberries. And so it helps to decrease the amount of free radicals in the body and help the body to work better. So these are more of the type of information that people need to be finding out about. This particular water came from a machine that was created over 35 years ago in Japan because the Japanese had been damaged from the atomic bomb. When the atomic bomb was dropped in the Japanese cities, it killed millions of people, and it destroyed their water, their land, and it created a certain amount of radiation that the people could not breathe the air, they could not drink the water, and they could not eat the food off the land. So the Japanese had to become very proactive. Their scientists had to go around the world and had to find water that was the healthiest water on the planet. They had to come back to Japan, and they had to start testing and studying water. And they got into such an advanced study of water that they created a machine that could create 7 different kinds of waters. It could create a water that by spraying this water on your countertop or in your bathroom, it could kill microbes in 3 seconds. They created a water that when you drink it, this water helps you to breathe better. Let me give you an example and help your circulation work better. Last week, I'm sure you heard of sickle cell anemia, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Last week, a client came to my office who was a priest, and this priest had sickle cell anemia. That affects African Americans to a great degree. The sickle cell anemia he had was he was having a crisis at the moment. Crises